Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Hello, and welcome back to Big Mouth. And if you're feeling quite charitable, you can like this video and subscribe to this channel if you're brand new. And if you're really feeling sorry for this pathetic face, right, you can go over to Twitter and @MoviesTVMad and follow me. It's a free world and you can do whatever the F you like. Welcome to Thursday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. We are 3 days away from this dramatic finale. We are at the precipice of the biggest change in Doctor Who history. We've seen regenerations, we've seen new showrunners since it was launched in '63. We've seen course corrections, we've seen different directions, but I don't think anyone who supported this show and has followed this show, whether it's Big Finish, the live actions, the TV show, has ever seen the likes. And we certainly haven't seen the audacious like of this since the revival. Yes, Moffat's change from what RTD was doing was dramatic and big, very different Doctor, very different TARDIS, very different companions, and the River Song love story commenced. But this is massive. This is absolutely huge. And it's so huge and it's going to be so dark. I want my fellow Doctor Who fans to understand something. This is not going to be a cute and cuddly ending. This is Chris Chibnall's and Doctor Who's version of The Empire Strikes Back. It is massive. Now, say what you like about Chris Chibnall, but look what he's done to the Cybermen, right? They're the Stormtroopers. The lone Cyberman is Darth Vader. And something is happening here. Something major. Yes, Doctor Who under him has been a slow burn. And sometimes it's been difficult to watch and a little bit drab and bland. But finally, we are getting away from his new hope and into the darkness of Doctor Who. You know, Sacha Dhawan again has warned us that it's very, very dark. And we may not even want to see him again after what the Master does. But also with these interviews, you've got to remember they're always trying to give us red herrings. But I expect we know what's going on. We know RTD, we know Stephen Moffat, two very different Doctor Who fans and producers who gave us great Doctor Who in the most part. Chris Chibnall is a very, very different animal. He's not about the fairy tale. He's not about the romance like RTD. He's about the real world, putting Doctor Who in the real world. But what he's proposing in doing in this finale, this Sunday, is massive because he's literally making a Doctor Who origin movie that we're going to see this Sunday. That's what the finale is. Like it or not, worried about pre-Hartnell doctors or not, right? Or a doctor, right? It's all irrelevant now. It's filmed, it's done, it's in the can. It's going to happen, whether you're a member of the fandom menace, whether you love what Chibnall's doing or you hate it. You're all part of this community, the Doctor Who fandom, and every opinion matters. And I don't care if you agree with me, like me or hate me. You're a Doctor Who fan and you are welcome right here because we know Doctor Who. We love Doctor Who. And whether you hate what Chibnall's doing or you love it, you know that this Sunday cannot be missed. This is the moment editorially that look, we've already been told it's changing. This is big. We know this is a big shift in Doctor Who. Now, we've known for quite a few times that Doctor Who, since kind of the ends of the Capaldi era, well, let's be honest, right? Capaldi's episodes were dropping anyway. And even Smith's episodes. I love Matt Smith and I love Peter Capaldi. But the truth of the matter is, RTD's era, ratings and popularity and love-wise, was massive. In terms of Moffat, he did make Doctor Who popular in America. I still think under RTD it was getting popular over there anyway, but the Americans really warmed to his story arcs. They liked the complex nature of the stories, and Doctor Who became very popular over there. But in the UK, it was Moffat's era that really started dribbling a little bit of viewers, losing viewers. And it went on with Matt Smith, it went on with Peter Capaldi. It was losing popularity. whatever he did. And I don't blame Stephen Moffat there. I blame Russell T Davies was just so good that when he left and when Tennant left, people left with those guys. Simple as that. And this is where we are now. Now, obviously, we've got another situation here with the Chibnall era where people have also moved on. But this is massive because if he's done this right and he's been brave and bold enough to change elements of the canon, that is massive. Now, I know some of you will be getting angry. Why should he change the canon? Look, Doctor Who is an over 50-year-old property. You can't keep on plodding along. We know Piers Wenger, the controller of the BBC, is a massive Who fan, and he said they won't be resting the property anytime soon. Of course, he's attempting to throw some positivity. Of course, they're not happy about the ratings. They're not terrible, but they're not the glory days of the RTD era. I suppose we need to be realistic as well. We're not... Look, the end of time, do you realise, right? Did you see that bloody moth? Jesus Christ, it's probably the Master in Disguise or something. Anyway, the end of time finished off with like 14 million viewers, part 2. Think about how massive that was. That's never going to happen again. It may happen again, but it's not a possibility really, is it? I know Jodie's first episode got 10 million. In this day and age, like in 2018, or was it? Yeah, it was 2018, wasn't it? Was amazing. Amazing. People in Doctor Who could still potentially pull in those kind of viewers, but it is difficult. But this Sunday, this is make or break. Doctor Who isn't going anywhere. It will still limp on for the next few years. I genuinely believe that. But I think this is a moment where either Chris Chibnall brings everyone back to the party or he just drives away people and it's just kind of a few normies watching it. I'll still watch it. Whatever he does, whether I love it or hate it. Look, I came back watching Doctor Who after season 11. That was a big deal for me. It was a big deal for me because I was so underwhelmed by everything after episode 3. And I genuinely was considering not coming back to watch Doctor Who. But I did. And now, do you know what? Ever since the Master was revealed and I saw The Fugitive of the Judoon, I've been going back, watching episodes, listening to Murray Gold's soundtracks. You know, I've been really excited for Doctor Who again. And I wasn't doing those things during season 11. So there has been a course correction by Chris. As I've said many a times, his standalone episodes are still an issue. He needs more interesting companions. I think for sure the woman, the actress from Sarah Jane, and Bradley Walsh are going to. Bradley Walsh will remain as part of the TARDIS team, and I think with the flirting that I saw, she's going to be a new member of the TARDIS team. That will be interesting. That could be our Rory and Amy. That could be very exciting. And I think the young guy, the young black guy, I think maybe he could be part of the TARDIS team. So then you've got an interesting, more interesting trio there, which would say maybe that Yaz and Ryan are either leaving or being killed off or whatever. But I think those two are gone because I just feel that Chris hasn't fleshed those characters out. I feel sorry for them. I really, I feel sorry for Tolson Cole. I feel sorry for Mandip Gill. It's not their fault. They just weren't given the tools to be great companions. Even when you look at the Moffat era and the RTD era combined, whether you love the companions or not, they were fleshed out and they were interesting. But those two characters are just not a point of interest. Yes, Mandip's character has had a bit of fleshing out this year, but it's still not good enough. But why would you... But then you flesh her out and you put Tolson Cole's character on the subs bench, right? Ryan's been on the subs bench. Last year, we had Ryan and his dyspraxia, right? It's barely been mentioned this year. That's not cool. So, at the end of the day, they're going to go. They need to go. And then, we've touched on this so many times. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. Probably one of the most controversial choices since Matt Smith and Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy. Because, yes, Matt Smith was a controversial choice. They did the big reveal, he was being interviewed, and we all looked at him and we went, this is the Doctor. We were just I mean, we were just so surprised. Now, it ended up him being one of the greatest doctors of all time, no question about it. But it was a shock at first, and I remember everyone's reactions to him. Peter Capaldi, we all cheered because we knew who Peter was. We knew that he was desperate to play the Doctor and who Peter was, and he wrote a letter to the show when he was a kid. It was a beautiful story. I know the younger members of the audience would go, he's an old dude, we want a young, good-looking dude, this ain't fair. But ultimately, he was a popular choice. And Jodie has been, in some corners, very unpopular. I'll go back to my reaction when I first found out she was cast. I was surprised that Chris had been so lazy to cast someone he already knew. But I liked Jodie Whittaker from Broadchurch. I thought her performances were compelling. And I found her very emotional. And I thought her and Chris being reunited could be a good thing. I had faith in Chris to create something very, very special. We didn't see that in season 11. But slowly we are seeing it now. And Sunday is creeping up, only 3 days away. And I don't know. I think all predictions and theories go out the window. We've all still got them. I mean, I had a theory about Brendan, that maybe Brendan's the TARDIS. I mean, that's insane. That's how crazy it's getting now. Right, the favourite theory for me is that Brendan is the lone Cyberman. That would make more choice. He could be the Doctor. I don't know. He could be anything. And look, all theories are valid here, but this is why I'm so pumped for Doctor Who again. Because Chris has created a really exciting arc. And I don't have a clue what's going to happen. And I'm still going to go back to Sacha Dhawan doing all the marketing. I am stunned that Jodie is nowhere to be seen. What happened to the Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who MOJ on Twitter? That's gone now. Right, I know that hasn't been this year, but that's interesting as well. Last year they had it on there. Everyone was very excited about it. Well, not everyone, but a lot of the new fans were, let's be honest, and let's give them that at least. But that's gone. Certain statements that Jodie was saying in season 11, they've gone. So there's been many, many course corrections, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. The biggest course correction is this Sunday. Watch it live on BBC One, because whether you hate it or love it, love Jodie's Doctor or hate her Doctor, hate Chris Chibnall or love what Chris Chibnall's doing, if you're a Doctor Who fan, this is history. This is massive. I cannot stress this enough. This is the biggest moment in Doctor Who history. This is the changing of the guard, the changing of the will. You know, this is hell-bent, put right. This is the Cybermen, the Doctor and the Master, doing battle in Gallifrey. They're all going to be there. Gallifrey, the Cybermen, the Master, and the Doctor, of course. What could any Doctor Who fan want other than that? Well, there's so much more to come in that episode. You just don't understand what's going to happen. And we'll talk about it more again in tomorrow's Doctor Who Daily. I'm so excited. I'm so worn out from emotionally from talking about it, because my excitement levels haven't been this high for many years in watching Doctor Who. Please like, share the channel, share the video, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more Doctor Who Daily. See you then. I'm excited.